fact, when I shy out doing something romantic on screen, or my wife is the one who pushes me to do it. Sidharth Malhotra is called Shershaah.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't really know the backstory of the character he was playing. Vikram Batra. And when I saw the film, I was in tears watching the climax of the film, and I was like, I was feeling, what am I doing with life? Like, I'm just being an actor, just sitting here, like looking after myself and my own family, and look at that guy being so selfless. But as an actor, what can you do? You can probably make good films like this.
Yeah.
Take those real stories of those real heroes out to people. Then I was like, okay, I'm doing the right film. As a kid growing up, I was watching Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada films. I always thought we made great cinema in India, but the only thing that was dividing us was the language. And I'm so glad that because of films like Bahubali and RRR and other great films like Lagaan at one time, they broke those barriers, the language barrier that we had. And I think slowly we're transitioning into this one film industry called Indian film industry. I think that's a great change. Huge admirer of Prabhas. I mean, not just with Bahubali. When I've seen him grow, he's very humble and a sweet guy. And the thing is, he never wanted to become the superstar. It just happened because of his sheer hard work and efforts. So when I was watching Harry Potter, I loved that entire magical world and all of that. And I'm like, how would I be part of something like this? Okay, maybe if I become an actor, maybe someday I'll get to do something like this.
So basically, Hogwarts got you to...
Yeah, got me to acting.
Acting, that's very good. Hi guys, this is Ankita. You're watching me on Bollywood Bubble, and today we have with us Varun Tej, to whom the first thing I have to rather ask but congratulate for completing a decade in the industry.
Yeah, I'm actually completing my 10 years. I think, thinking about it, I feel old. It's already been 10 years, but I'm still trying to figure out where my stand is in the industry, still trying to explore.
Should I call you a veteran?
But no, not yet.
Not yet.
No, don't. Not even later. I'm happy in the space I am.
You started your career as a child actor, am I right?
That was an accident. That was, I just bunked school, and my dad was filming acting in a movie, and my uncle, Mr. Chiranjeevi, was doing a cameo in it. So I just went to shoot just to say hi to them, and they ended up putting me in front of the camera. It was just a 10-second, 20-second sequence that I acted in. But that I never wanted to become an actor back then. So later, 10 years after that, I figured that, this is my calling. Various reasons made me choose this.
I actually was going to ask you, what made you want to be an actor? Because when you come from a family which boasts of, I think, probably one of the best illustrious careers you could ever see in the industry, how do you make a decision that you also want to walk with the same footsteps?
So for me, it was never the vanity or the fame or what came with being an actor that made me choose this path. For me, growing up, I was a very curious kid. Okay, I always wanted to know what it is to be another person. Suddenly, as in imagine what it is to be you, sitting in your shoes, how your life would be like. So that always kind of lingered me, and at some spot, I figured as an actor, you get to don different characters, and I felt it was a very interesting job or profession to pick. So I said, okay, let me do this.
Was there a particular film, a particular anecdote you can recall where you knew that actor banunga?
Okay, very funnily, when I was watching Harry Potter, okay, so I'm like a huge fan. So when I was watching Harry Potter, I loved that entire magical world and all of that. And I was like, I was so badly wanted to be part of that, like to live in that world. And then I figured it is fictional, right? It doesn't exist. I'm like, how would I be part of something like this? Okay, maybe if I become an actor, maybe someday I'll get to do something like this. So that was growing up when I was in 9th grade or something. Then that kind of said, okay, I'm probably going to do this.
So basically, Hogwarts got you to...
got me to acting.
Acting, that's very good. I think that's one cool story to actually stick by.
I've never told that to someone, actually.
I'll take the accolades for that one. But once you started, Varun, was there ever a stage? Because you started with great films. There were some Fida, like one of those, F2, F3, and there was a lull also in between. Because your choices were never mainstream, if what I could figure out. You wanted to try a lot of story-oriented projects. Does it ever wavered your, idea of should I maybe take a detour, go into something else?
In terms of in the same profession?
In the same profession.
I mean, taking different kinds of cinema, right? As in, no. I mean, definitely, I would like waver a little bit when it completely falters at the box office. But again, I always think about, I don't take decisions in haste or in emotion. I always kind of stabilize all of that when I'm trying to think of what path to take or what move to make next. So imagine a film bombs and I'm not going to make a decision next day saying, okay, I'm not going to work on this. I'm going to take a detour and do more commercial movies. So I always think why I started. One of the reasons why I started is I always wanted to be different to because there were many actors in the film industry, in Telugu film industry when I debuted. So I wanted to I wanted to have a reason why. So my dad growing up, he said, ask yourself why people need to buy a ticket and watch your film. So that question is something that I always kept with myself. I always keep asking myself that question. And I think that effort of trying to pick different scripts, trying to be different, trying to offer something novel to the audience about why they need to buy a ticket and watch my film is something that always is there in the back of my head when I pick a film or a script.
When you have so many good actors on the table, how are the dinner conversations like?
It's never about cinema. So,
Never?
Yeah, it's never about cinema. I mean,
Why?
obviously, like when someone achieves a success or something, we obviously congratulate them. We host a party and we like party all night. But we don't usually get critical or do some analysis about someone's choices or anything. But I do have cousins who I would knock on their door in case I really need some advice about a certain script, or if I have a trailer that I'm about to release, I just want an opinion. I would obviously knock on their door. We would have that kind of conversation, and we would limit it to that, because in our family we strongly believe that you need to figure out your journey. No one can handhold you and take you through it. You have to fall down. You have to pick yourself up, and you have to start running. So it's all about you, and you have to be responsible for it. And even I felt that in the beginning that you cannot let someone else take decisions for you, or even push you towards picking anything, because ultimately you want to be responsible for your actions, irrespective of if the film does well or not. Like when you hold accountability, right?
Yes.
Like you own it. So then you don't have to blame anyone else. You're the mistake, or you're the reason it worked well. So you have a sense of satisfaction, I think.
Over the years, do you think that you also have evolved as an actor? In a sense, when we grow older, our choices change, the
Right.
way we view cinema change, and you've always been a little off the beat, I would say, your cinema
Right.
choices. You
Right.
haven't been that very massy, as I would say, the
Not at all.
template.
Right.
I would say you haven't followed that.
As in the beginning, I went too rogue, I think. I felt a couple of films.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, there's one film where I felt, okay, I said, I like to experiment, but
Which one?
It was Antariksham. There's a
Of
movie
course,
called
I was
Antariksham.
coming to that.
Yeah, and I was hell-bent upon making that film. But when the film released, I understood that sometimes, even if you want to offer something very novel or something very new, you need to, it's very important to even understand your audience. I think it's even understanding your audience also is an evolving process. Like their tastes keep changing with time to
Exactly.
time. So obviously you need to catch up on it, be wary of what's happening, what's working and all of that. I think that aspect of it, maybe I kind of understood better with the years coming through. But you never know. Yeah, it's always a risk when you start a new film and take it up. It's always with that gut that you go. And I feel like Operation Valentine also, even the reason I picked it up, even it's probably the first aerial combat film in Telugu. I know I'm offering something very new and unique, but again, now I understood what the audience choices are and what they like. So I kind of understood this film has a very good balance of both, of it being something very novel and this emotion being so well connected with people. I think they would connect to this kind of emotion that is in this film. So I think, yeah.
You're coming at a time with Operation Valentine when we have seen an offing and two in
Right.
aerial actioner. Do you think our audience are willing to widen their template, because the comparisons become heavy,
Right.
not just within our internal films? We automatically start taking comparisons to Hollywood
Yes,
without even realizing what we make in India with limited budgets
Yeah, right.
in itself is
But you cannot explain that to people. So it doesn't, for them, it won't matter if you made this film in 40 or 100 or 200. Ultimately, I think what drives the film to success is the emotion behind it. I mean, your scale can be huge. Like, for example, the biggest example I can give you was of Hanuman, that released a couple of months,
yeah,
a month ago.
month and a half back, yeah.
It's not a 200 CR film. It was not as big as what Bahubali is, but the movement that film made, or
Has landed
yeah,
in how?
it is. See, it always depends on. See, a film success definitely depends on various factors, but I think those comparisons are. I mean, we cannot stop them from comparing things, but ultimately you have to see how you're different. Your emotion has to be at least different. That is what will drive towards the end.
How was it for you to play the role of an air officer? I mean, I saw your video where you were talking
Talking to
about
a wing commander, yeah.
and I'm like, normally when we prepare for a character, we do the groundwork.
Right.
What do we do in such films? What's the groundwork like?
The thing is, see, half of it is how you sketch the character. I mean, you definitely write down the characteristics and see. You play it in your head first and see how it's fitting well with the character that you're playing. But ultimately, we have real life fighter pilots.
Of course.
So there's definitely a thing or two to take from them about how they behave during critical missions. You always think that, okay, they're very rigid, strict people. They don't probably laugh or something because their job is so high octane. Yeah, and then when I met them, I realized that, you know what, they're such easygoing people. So when I was talking to that wing commander, I was doing an interview with him. So I asked him, this is the opinion that people have on you. He said, no, man, we're very funny people because we've seen death so close to us. Nothing makes us feel more serious. So we take every day to our stride and have fun doing our job. So we don't take anything too seriously, except the country.
This is the second time you are joining the army, I would say officer uniform?
Right. I think the first time was basically I played a Indian fighting for the British in the World War II. So that's my second film. But technically wearing a Air Force officer, first time,
Yeah. And even I would say with the success of the biopic we had in Major Unnikrishnan,
right.
And now with you, I think Telugu films also love the template of, I should say, the patriotic, the nationalism
Right.
of the films. Do you think that this one fits the bill in that?
100%. That is one of the. I felt that as I told you, when I pick a film, I want to see how it's novel. The movies, those patriotic films are kind of less on number.
They're very rare.
Less, and especially I felt in Telugu.
I was coming to that.
So when so I was like, okay, man, I should be the one to pick it up.
Again,
Obviously,
I want to bring something novel to the table, as you have said.
And then I was like, okay. And again, as from my previous experiences, then I realized it's not just that I want to make a film which is different, which is not being made. I have to see how can I play that to my audience and how I can make them connect to this content of our film. So I think we kind of balanced that out very well, thanks to my director.
Was it also the reason for you to make this particular film be in Hindi? Or I should say it's your Hindi debut?
Yeah.
Or should I look for another proper Hindi language debut for you?
No. I think, see,
I know this term is massively irrelevant. We are cross-connecting our cinemas.
So the
We've
thing
spoken
is,
about it.
The idea was not to debut in other languages or anything. See, ultimately, growing as a kid growing up, I was watching Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada films. I always thought we made great cinema in India. I mean, even be it Bengali films and Assamese films. But the only thing that was dividing us was the language. And I'm so glad that because of films like Bahubali and RRR and other great films like Lagaan at one time, they broke those barriers, the language barrier that we had. And I think slowly we're transitioning into this one film industry called Indian film industry. I think that's a great change. So I'm not really thinking that, okay, I'm debuting here or debuting there. I'm glad. The thing is, I felt that even the content of the film has to be universal when you are spreading your wings and going to other languages.
Exactly.
So there's certain films that you cannot. If they're so very rooted to your region based.
Yeah, the cultural impact maybe on that particular.
So, but again, that was something that I had, that movies based or which are very core to your regional based wouldn't work. But when I saw Kantara again, which really works. So ultimately, I think, as I told you, I'm going back to the same thing that I said. I think it's the emotion that will drive. It doesn't matter what if it's a region based film or if it's a fictional film like Bahubali or anything.
I think I'm also give credit to Pushpa here for that
Yeah,
matter.
yeah.
Like if you see the structure and the template of it, anyone would say, okay, as we call it, South film.
Right, right.
I won't call it a South film.
It is not, yeah. I think I'm so glad that that barrier is broken off. Yeah.
I think it's a very good space to be in the other way when you were telling me that it should not be any longer that we are doing film from this region and that
Right,
region.
right.
It has to be a film put
Film
together.
Yes, yes.
So you also feel that very same way, and I'm so good about it. With Operation Valentine, I had this observation. You guys postponed your dates twice.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah.
Twice.
Why?
First, we had a plan of releasing it on the 8th of December, and I think there was a big jumble in release dates of other big
Oh yeah,
films.
that was one chaotic month.
Yes, and so the team and all of them collectively took a decision. See, sometimes so you can't go and play with your ego. I mean, you were like, okay, I
very
took the
nice.
date because just because someone else changed the date, I'm not going to move my film out. But ultimately, your effort behind making this film is for people to watch it. So I'm like, it's okay, man, to take a back step. I said, it's okay, let's push the film. And at the same time, we needed some more time with the VFX. Okay, we were like, okay, getting more time for VFX. Okay, let's do it. And then we took that decision as a team and moved it out.
I was going through a filmography and I realized one thing when I was searching over Google, that the Hindi dubbed version of Fida
Yeah.
and your chemistry with Sai Pallavi is probably one of the most
It is,
searched and
yeah.
watched films. Now she's making, of course, her Hindi debut, as I may call it, with Ramayana.
You like saying that?
Yeah, I'm also saying the debut, as we have been putting the word. If you have to put out, or if you have to pick out a Hindi language film, do you have any idea, any character in mind, a story you want to tell? Like anything, maybe something which has been made in the past, just as a reference point, if you would have to
So
pick
one
it
of the
up.
reasons when I was listening to Operation Valentine, there was this film of Sidharth Malhotra called Shershaah.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't really know the backstory of the character he was playing,
Vikram Batra.
Vikram Batra. And when I saw the film, I was in tears watching the climax of the film, and I was like, I was feeling, what am I doing with life? Like, I'm just being an actor, just sitting here, like looking after myself and my own family, and look at that guy being so selfless. Then I was like, okay, like now don't like knock your head too much out. But as an actor, what can you do? You can probably make good films like this.
Yeah.
Take those real stories of those real heroes out to people. Then I was like, okay, I'm doing the right film. So it kind of gave me that inspiration that, you know what, you're on the right path.
You are.
Yeah, I tried.
Taking that question ahead itself, now that people love your chemistry, I was talking about with Sai Pallavi, and then you met your wife Lavanya as your poster on one of your films. How do you evaluate the fact that people rate your chemistries with these two leading ladies, who also one happens to be your wife as well here?
But she is, in fact, when I shy out doing something romantic on screen, or my wife is the one who pushes me to do it. I mean, she said, you're an actor. I mean, you don't think about me being at home, or nothing should stop you from exploring what your job is. It's okay, go try that out. But thing is, chemistry is not something that develops on set or between two actors. It's what is on paper. I mean, most important
The
thing is,
material.
yeah, exactly. That is, see, when people started asking this question to me and Sai Pallavi, we were like, we are really good friends. But the thing is, you don't really need to have a chemistry off screen to bring up something beautiful on screen. It's about what is on paper. If you are able to replicate that, obviously it's important that you put your act straight and emote right for what is given to you. I think me and Sai Pallavi, I think it worked out because, you know, she was. It's very important when you have another actor who can respond and reciprocate the same when you're shooting. And I think she's a phenomenal actress, and that really helped out. And it looked. I think that's the reason Fida is what it is.
Do you think Lavanya agrees that you look good with her, or do you look the best with her?
I obviously look good with my wife. Yeah,
I like that
there's no
answer.
doubt about it. I don't have to ask Lavanya for it. But I mean, she said you have to look good next to everyone. That's what she
That's
keeps
some
saying.
pressure, huh?
That's pressure, yeah.
Operation Valentine is coming in the Valentine's week, and this also happens to your first Valentine after marriage.
Oh yeah, yes.
What are you doing special, or are you going to?
If I get some time off, maybe take her out for dinner. My plans are pretty boring, so not very exciting.
Unless they are traveling.
Yeah, and maybe this time I don't think I get to travel because of the promotions of it. So she's here in Bombay, so she's come to meet me. So we'll see, we'll figure out and head somewhere nice.
That's nice, but still the traveling concession should be fulfilled. Huh? You have to make up to that particular.
I did take her out on a really good holiday a couple of months ago. We went to Finland. So yeah, so I have some time to take her again. I love traveling personally, so it's not her. I keep pushing her all the time to travel. I love traveling.
Do you think travel also gives you the perspective to try and?
I mean, once in a while, it'll make you feel like you're nothing. Like traveling, like if you're in Hyderabad, if you're here in this industry, like you often get maybe in your head you feel like you're an actor, you're a star, like people, all this fame and all of that. Sometimes it might get into your head. So when you travel abroad, you're nothing. You're just another person, right? I think that keeps me grounded a little bit. I like traveling for that matter of fact, for that reasons.
Varun, tell me why people call you media shy. I've been reading it a lot in so many articles. What is this media shy image with yours?
So I think that stayed because see, I was as a kid growing up, I would never talk. I was like I would never get onto a stage, hold a mic and talk, addressing like hundreds of people. But in the beginning of my career, I really shied out talking to people and all of that. I think that stayed. But I think I grew out of it a little bit. Even now, if I have to talk in front of a few thousand people holding a mic, I would still shiver a little bit. But on a one-on-one conversation, if I'm talking about a film, I don't think I have a problem anymore. I'm not that shy.
Not that shy.
Not that shy. Just the thing is that, I always felt, I'm a private person, okay? I like to keep my private space to myself. But when I keep coming out often and people start asking me questions, I usually end up talking a lot about it. So then I said, okay, no, I'll refrain from like getting out and talking a lot. So I just keep things to myself.
Does it also come from the place, Varun, when you represent a family, right, which, of course, as we have said, of course, have actors, there is a certain political lineage to it as well. You get very careful with the words you choose to put out in media because we often know that things get misconstrued by the time they're out in the public.
When growing up, there's one principle I always had in my head is talk less. Because you'll make a fool out of yourself ultimately if you keep talking a lot. So I would want to talk a lot only when it comes to my cinema. Otherwise, if it's anything personal, I like to keep it to myself. So I don't get out. So I mean, obviously, because eventually you'll lose track, you'll say something or the other. I mean, but if it's a political stand or if it's a stand you need to take about some issue that is happening in the country, my uncles have told me that if you strongly believe in it and if you know what it is about, don't just tweet something just because everyone is doing it. If you seriously know what it is and if you want to stand by it, then take a choice and like get onto it. So when you're an actor again, you want all sections of people to watch your film. You're not making films for one particular section of audience or with someone with some political ideas. You're making films for everyone. So when you're an actor, you have to, I personally feel that you cannot totally take a political stand and all of that. But if you want to, you can, but you have to be sure of it and stick to it.
To come for an industry like Telugu industry where we have massive superstars, like there is no dearth of the big names when we throw them out. If I have to ask you, barring your family, we make it easy for you this time. Is there somebody's body of work which really inspires you?
Other than my family?
Other than your family?
I've always been a huge admirer of Prabhas, Anna. I mean, not just with Bahubali. When I've seen him grow, he's very humble and a sweet guy. And the thing is, he always worked towards this craft. He never looked at him debuting in Hindi. He never wanted to become the superstar. It just happened because of his sheer hard work and efforts. I think I really look up to him. I think he's had a great trajectory as an actor.
But thank you so much, Varun. It's been so much fun. You have been candid best it could have been. And no, you're not media shy. I take that back. You're pretty much fun to talk to. Yeah. I think Bombay media hopefully is treating you pretty well.
It's good. It's good. Yeah, like
it's good.
Nice change.
All right. Thank you so much for wishing you all the best for Operation Valentine.
Thank you.